Are you tired of chasing leads and feeling like your content isn't converting? Well, what if there was a way to pre-sell and pre-nurture your leads so that sales became way easier and your marketing did all the heavy lifting for you using a system that runs on autopilot? Well, there is. And in this video, I'm going to explain the exact system that me and my clients have been using to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars for our creator and our coaching businesses, even with a tiny audience. So what's important to understand here is that not everybody that comes into your world is ready to purchase your highest level product, your highest level program or services. So what you'll generally see is that there's some people who are just straight up action takers who are ready to go. They know what they want. They know what the problem is. They know what the solution is. They can tolerate risk better and they just move fast. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have people that are extremely cynical, extremely skeptical. And sometimes these people can take anywhere from 90 days to like 3 years to actually buy the highest level program or product or service that you have. And then of course you have different people in between who sometimes are ready to take action after 14 days. Sometimes they're ready to take action after 60 days or 30 days. Sometimes they're ready to take action after 60 days. And so the question really becomes, how do you push someone from a skeptic, which is on, the furthest right side of the screen, to an action taker in as little time as possible? We have to walk them through different levels of awareness. You have problem aware, so the person actually knows that they have a problem and they understand what the problem is. They have to be solution aware. They know there's a solution out there to fix their problem. They might even know of the different types of solutions there are out there. They have to become brand aware, so they know who you actually are, what your brand is, what your personal brand is, and that you have a solution related to the problem. They have to become trust aware, and this is one of the hardest ones to do, where they actually have to trust that you can provide the exact results for them specifically to get to the solution and the goal that they want. They have to become offer aware, so they know the exact details of the offer, including the delivery, the implementation, the price. You've shown them a slide deck, you've shown them an offer doc, you've sent them a sales page, and they have to be urgency aware, so they know that there is a cost of not taking action to this right now. Now, the old way of doing things is forcing people through a one-way funnel, right? Using fake scarcity and urgency to try to get people to act now, and using these high pressure sales tactics and sales calls and doing cold outreach. And all of these things are really just old traditional funnels and old school ways of, getting people to act based on impulse and emotion. And what you can see is, depending on the funnel, somebody will typically see an ad, right? They'll click the ad, they'll land on something like a VSL page, which is just a video sales letter page, which has a video that sells you on booking a call. Somebody will book a call and they'll become a client. In an ideal world, this is the customer avatar. But the truth is, when was the last time that you purchased something over $2,000 from just seeing an ad and going through a funnel? We're living in a time where nobody trusts anybody. It's kind of sad. So the old school way of forcing people down this funnel is just no longer applicable today. And the customer journey looks a lot different than it did before when people were using these traditional marketing funnels. So somebody might see an ad or see a piece of organic content from you, and then they'll go and they'll look you up on Google, and they might start watching some of your YouTube videos. And then, they might follow you on Instagram. And when they're on Instagram, they might see an Instagram story. They might watch another YouTube video that following week, or if they see one pop up in the algorithm, then they'll see a call to action. They'll join your school community. When they join the school community, they'll watch a free course. Then they might send you a DM, and only after that, they might book a call and become a client. And so this customer journey requires much more trust built within the process. And so what we want to do is reverse engineer this process so that we get this end result. And we can do that through this flywheel that I'm about to explain right here. There are two types of flywheels that we use. The first is the content flywheel, okay? This is moving short form on platforms like Instagram and Twitter, where you can get attention and you can have conversations, to platforms like YouTube, which is long form nurture content so that people can build trust with you over time, because the longer you spend time with somebody, whether it's in person or whether that's through a video, the more trust is built, which is why in the old days, you'd have those big cats go and play golf with their prospects so that they could spend 4 hours with somebody to ultimately get the sale. But the beautiful thing today is that you can just do that through creating valuable content. And then you want to bring somebody into a community. Now, I love the free school community ascension model because when you bring somebody into that community, you get their email, you get their phone number, and so that person automatically becomes a lead. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then you can design the community in a way to ascend people into a booked call, or sell people digital products, or ascend people into a high ticket client, right? And once you get the community, you get their email, and within that email, you can have an automated email system, which I have set up for myself and all of my other clients, which automatically drips out more of your content so that people can walk through the awareness stages. Now, what happens is you use your email to actually grow your community. And so people might not always opt in for your community, but if they opt in for your email, then you can point them to the community, right? You use your community to grow your YouTube channel. So every single YouTube channel that I put, I'm putting in my community for my tighter knit group. And then you redirect people from YouTube on to your short form platforms like Instagram so that you can have a conversation with them and really start to connect with them, because you can't have a conversation on things like YouTube and email. You can kind of go back and forth on email, but what I have found is that people want to have real, legit conversations with you before they buy anything from you. Platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, School, you can have conversations on all of these one-on-one with somebody to see if they're a good fit for your program, rather than just shouting into the void or hoping somebody emails you back, or hoping somebody, buys something from the description in the YouTube page. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. You want to have conversations which lead people into a booked call, and then that booked call leading into sales. And the cool part is, once you actually build up your marketing strong enough, you don't even need to handle a sales call. And a bunch of my mentors and a bunch of people that I work with have actually built up this machine where they're able to not even you have to go on a sales call, and they can just sell in the DMs. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like practically. So on my latest YouTube video that I did last week, I had a description that said, hey, get my high ticket offer workshop here. I pointed people to the free school community. Within the free school community, I have lots of value in there where I'm solving problems with people. I have 38 member requests pending. We have 600 members in here. And within this community, I have several mechanisms to actually ascend people into the directions that I want to go, whether that's, a booked call, or selling them into a digital product, or just helping them out for free to get testimonials. So here's an example of a post that I made where I'm telling people, hey, all you have to do is comment, and I'm going to show you this system that I've built. And then people comment, and I can go into the DMs from there. We can have a conversation, and then, we can see if we're a good fit to work together, or what stage that they're at to book a call. And so that is somebody going straight from the YouTube video into the community, right? But I also say, hey, connect with me on Instagram. And so within my Instagram, I'm getting several new followers, and these are actually people who come from my videos. And what I'll do is just reach out to the followers and have a conversation, and actually send people to my YouTube videos so that they get nurtured, and that they can actually understand what I'm teaching and understand my results. And from here, then they can even go into the community. And again, it just becomes effortless, so that somebody can click this and book a game plan call with me, where if you're in my free community, I have several different options that I'll do for free just within that free community, so that somebody can eventually become a client. This is what the content flywheel is. It's taking this short form, directing people to long form, directing people to community. And then once they get in the community, they get into my email system. And so within the email system, I have something tagged as when they join the free school community. Then they go into a free school welcome sequence. And what does this welcome sequence do? Well, it actually is designed to get people to engage with the community. It's designed to get people to go to my workshops, get my free value. And ultimately, it's designed to put people through this path of them becoming problem aware, solution aware, brand aware, trust aware, offer aware, urgency aware. So that is the first part of the content flywheel system. So not only do you need the content flywheel within the business, but you also need what I'm calling the client flywheel in the business. So let me show you what this looks like. So in the client flywheel, somebody from your audience joins a lead magnet or joins your free community. And then at that point, they become a lead because you have their email address, you have their phone number. Now, what most people do here is they try to force the leads into becoming high ticket clients, paying anywhere between $2K and $10K. And if you have strong marketing, then this works. But a lot of people's personal brands are lacking. Their marketing is lacking. They're not extremely clear. They don't have a lot of content built up. And so because of this, it's going to be extremely hard to get somebody who just met you, to pay you multiple 4 figures. And so a good mechanism to introduce here is something that I call a micro offer. So instead of taking a lead directly to a client, we take a lead directly into a customer. And a customer is not somebody who pays you for your higher ticket program. A customer is simply who has bought something from you in the past. And this is where we can introduce what I call micro offers, which can be priced at anywhere between $47 and $250, even higher. And these micro offers allow the customer to get a taste of the value that you can provide in working with you in your work style. And by giving somebody a micro offer and letting them have that little transaction before the bigger transaction, they actually have a much higher probability of becoming a higher client because they've already paid you once and you've already built that trust over that transaction. And these can be things like paid workshops. They can be things like digital products. For me, one of the first steps that I help people with is really getting that high ticket offer done. And so the thing that I've done in the past is I have sold a course on how to create a high ticket offer just for, $100 so that people can actually get a taste of how I can help them. And then once I solve that first problem for them, then they're going to be asking the next set of questions, which is, okay, now that I have the offer, how do I make content? How do I get clients? How do I create systems? How do I scale the business? And that is what the paid offer is for. And so when you design the micro offer to intentionally ascend people to your higher ticket program and build trust at the same time, that is when you increase the probability of a customer turning into a client. And you won't need everybody to become a customer, okay? But like I said at the beginning, there are people who are in different stages of this awareness journey. And so sometimes, it takes time for a customer to want to actually make a big commitment and work with you. And that's where these micro offers come really in handy. Okay. So once somebody becomes a client and, you're actually good at what you do and you can get people results, which is the number one thing you should be focused as an entrepreneur, is just getting your clients results, then you can turn them into a case study. And this case study is actually not only beneficial for them because you've pretty much changed their lives or changed their business, or, if you're a health coach, then you've taken them through that transformation of being fat to fit, or you're a relationship coach, you got them a date, whatever it is, right? When that case study comes about, then you use that case study to actually market to your audience. You use the case study to market to your leads. You use the case study to market to your customers. And because you're marketing case studies and you're showing that, you can actually give this real transformation, all other people are going to want to come into that ecosystem and, become a lead, become a customer, become a client. And then they want to become a case study too, because ultimately they're looking for that transformation. And you can just see how I'm doing this on my Instagram. I have all my client results right here. And so you can see how, we've made people $62,000 in 30 days, 25K in 30 days, and, 20K in just a few months, and all these different case studies. And, these are only a fraction of them. But when people come to my Instagram account and they see the client results, they're like, okay, I get what he does. I know how he can help people. And then they, have these conversations with me. And if they're a good fit, then we'll be able to work together. So that is what really this client flywheel is. It's from that audience to that lead, to the customer, to the client, to case study, then remarketing it back to the audience. And that is it. That is the full flywheel system, both on the content side, on the client side, how you can actually start deploying some of these strategies in your own business. So if you found this helpful, then my free school community link in description is below. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me the word offer, and I'll send you my high ticket offer workshop. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love to hear your comments. If you enjoyed it, if you hated it, let me know in the comments. Give it a like if you got some value out of it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.